It's a very good question. We have to understand what we mean by Paramatma and Atma. If we're going to say Paramatma, what is Atma? Atma Prajnanamayo, self-effulgent, self-manifesting. Nayam Atma Pravachanena Labhyo Namedaya Na Bahuna Sutena Name Varsha Vrinute Tena Labhya Tashaisha Atma Vivrinute Tanum Swam. Upadrastanu Mantacha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwara Paramat Meti Chapyuto Dehesman Purusha Pura. Interestingly, sometimes Srila Guru Maharaj calls the spiritual world the Paramatma world. When he is giving his Gayatri explanation, Savitur, the sun, what ostensibly appears to be a mantram, some type of sun worship. Sometimes they talk about sun worshippers. We hear Radharani, Vrishabhanu, Nani, Ba, Prabha, worshipping the sun. But Guru Maharaj will start explaining that sun in the sense of that which is revealing everything. Like every morning I try to get up the Brahma Muhurta, which right now is around 4:15 for those who are counting or interested. An hour and 36 minutes before sunrise. And then we see gradually the sun comes and things start becoming illuminated, and then when the bright, everything is illuminated. So, Srila Guru Maharaj will say, but really, without the subject, Atma, can anything be seen? It's like the old, that saying about, if a tree falls in a forest where there's no one around, does it make a sound? Like Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, there has to be an observer. The observer, the subjective observer. So Guru Maharaj will say, really, who's revealing the objective world is Atma. Actually, Atma is revealing. It's the soul, Atma, Paramatma. Sometimes when he talks about Atma, he'll say it's like a heading, Atma. Jivatma, Paramatma. And sometimes we will say, wherever there's Jivatma, there's Paramatma. But Jivatma, in what position, what circumstance, all these things have to be factored in. So, Andantarastam Paramanu Chayantarastam in the Brahma Samhita, Param Anu, Andantarastam, within everything, this aspect of the infinite, all permeating within everything. In the beginning of the Bhagavatam, the foundation is being laid and says, Vedanti tat tat vividas tattvam yajnanam advayam. Really, there's advaya gyan. There's only one thing to be known. That's why it's consistent with the Upanishads. Guru Maharaj saying, Yasmin vigyate sarvam eva vigyatam bhavati. Try to know that one thing, upon knowing which everything becomes known. As I've told, Einstein had a mistress, and she's a simple-hearted girl, and she said to him once, you should carry around a notebook, and then she noticed he didn't have a notebook, he's not walking around with notebooks and papers, and she's saying, you should carry a notebook, and there you can record all your ideas. And Einstein said to her, I don't need a notebook. I only have one idea. And this one idea, I keep thinking about it. Oh, I'm obsessed with this one idea, that there's this one thing you can know by which everything is known. That's what I think about. And this way you can say he's a closet theist. So the Bhagavatam is also telling us, know that one thing, upon knowing which everything will be known. That's what your endeavors should be. Right? Dharmashta swanustita pungsang visvakshena katasuya notparayed yadiritim shrama eva kevalam. And what? Everything else is a waste of time. So I'm saying, really, when you do anything, here's how you can tell whether you should be doing it or not. Is the end result an increased hankering for hearing about Krishna? The end result of what you do, you want to hear more about Krishna or less about Krishna? You want more Krishna consciousness or less of it? If the end result is it's awakening eagerness within you to hear more about this one substance, then you're moving in the right direction. Srila Guru Maharaj is always like that idea of that progress is moving in the right direction. For him, that's sufficient to know you're going in the right direction. Right? Digdarshan. Right? That's what Digdarshan means, going in the right direction. Right? So, that one substance, we're told, Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan iti Shabyate. That three aspects you can understand of the infinite. The Brahma, all-accommodating Brahma, right? Greater than the greatest. And we have Anor Aniyan Mahato Mahayan Atmasya Jantur Nihito. Not Nihito Guhayan, that's another, but you get the idea. Anor Aniyan, smaller than the smallest, Mahato Mahayan, greater than the greatest. Greater than the greatest, Brahma. That's one extreme of the infinite. All accommodating. That's why, interestingly, for those who promote Brahman understanding, it appears to accommodate everything. That's why it's the great accommodator. So when you would go to a Panchupasan temple, 5 different types of worship, or its modern version, if you go to the Vedanta Society in San Francisco, let's get more specific, you'll see Radha and Krishna or Lakshmi Narayan, and then Sitaram, Jesus, Muhammad, hail, hail, the gang's all here. So I say, yes, we accommodate everyone. Brahma. We're tracing that spiritual connection that's within everything. Right? And it makes so much sense on one level. And in fact, they say, and this is better because when you get too specific about any particular religious system, then conflict is possible. Like there was this group of, I don't know how to describe them, but let's say spiritually inclined young people in Santa Cruz. And what they do, maybe you know who they, I don't know if they're still there, but it's a group, like around 12 of them, boys and girls. And they go one Sunday, they go to Armat in SoCal. And they go to Sunday, and they're real nice. They take prasadam, dance at the kirtan, everything, listen to lectures and all. But then next week they go to Buddhist place, next week they go somewhere else, And their idea, though, is that they only become worried if someone gets a little too interested in one particular thing. That's a flag for them. So, and I remember once, there was one boy in the group at Sunday Feast asking me, what does it mean to join this ashram and Krishna? And I was sort of telling him straight, rather than trying to love bomb him and sugarcoat everything. kind of telling him straight what it would mean. And he's on one side, and his girlfriend was on the other side of the room. And he's sitting there hearing me saying these things, and his girlfriend says that there's 100 people there, right? And she goes, "You can't take it, can you?" Oh gosh. And it was around the same time, and I started to say something about Buddhism, and one of the guys says, "Just stick to the Krishna stuff." And I said, "You are correct. I'm just going to stick to the Krishna stuff." Thank you. But anyway, what we noticed was, as long as in their group you didn't become a little too enamored by one particular aspect, they were okay with that. So everything was like even Stephen, that all accommodating, it's Brahma appearing this way and that way. We went to see Baba Ramdas once, Mahayogi and I, Maharaj and I, and he's giving a talk, and he said he's speeding on the highway, and then a CHP, California Highway Patrol, they pull him over to give him a ticket, and the cop comes up to him, and Ramdas, he says, "But I know it's Krishna in drag." That's what it's Krishna in drag. I can't now explain that to everybody, but but so there's this idea, if you're a really cool spiritual person and everything, that you're seeing everything's the same. So whether Jesus, Jehovah, Allah, Krishna, Rama, Brahma, it's all Brahma, the all-accommodating Brahma. Take your pick, it doesn't matter. They're all the same. Right? So as Guru Maharaj would say, half-truth is worse than falsity. So, but the Bhagavatam says, Brahmeti Paramatmeti. But there's another, if we go to the other extreme of the infinite, get a little more refined conception, Paramatma, all permeating within everything, Anur Aniyant, smaller than the smallest, Andantarastam Paramanu Chayantarastam, in the heart of every living being, in the heart of the atoms. And on this note, I'd like to make a footnote, sidebar, because today being Ganga Puja. And so we know, well, how do we know? Because we listen to Guru Maharaj, otherwise what do we know? And Gurudev Prabhupada, or Guru Varga, Amnai Tattva. But an interesting aspect of Indian culture is never to step over anything or anyone, any living being. Right? That's why when someone walks, they put their hand down to part. They don't want to step over your foot or any such thing. Why? We can give various reasons. But one is because of the presence of Paramatma, Atma and Paramatma, a person. They're saying you should never step over a person out of respect for the divinity within them, you can say. Now we're back to the Brahma people, but not really. Right? So that part of Indian culture there. So interestingly, when Ramachandra, he needs to go from the southern tip of India to Sri Lanka, they need to, you can say, they're going to construct a bridge to cross over the ocean, to step over the ocean. Ocean is also a person. So to do that, you would have to request there would have to be extenuating circumstances or get permission. So Ramachandra is chanting some mantras, trying to, what's the word, supplicate, is that the right word? Propitiate the personality of the ocean. Right? But the ocean does not understand who is Ramachandra. So the ocean ignoring, some man on the beach chanting some mantras. Sometimes people chant mantra for their own purpose. When, you know, sometimes about India, they say there's two things that people in India, they're mad about, like insane over. God and cricket. And we've seen this. We can verify that that is true. God and cricket. So, at the time of the Cricket World Cup, they had a commercial, like in favor of the Indian team, and they show Indian lady, like dressed very nicely, and she's created a deity from the sand on the beach, but the deity is a cricket field. And her mantras, she's chanting like in Vedic cadence, but saying, let them make all their catches, let them win all their matches. She's like, the way you chant Sanskrit, she's chanting this. And then at the end she goes, Om Cricketaya Namaha. That's India. They want to win a cricket match, get out your Vedic mantras. It's like the Catholics chanting Hail Mary. But for the end, it's like, Om. They're going to the Vedas. They've got murtis. If we want to win this match, we need to make a deity and offer some mantras. Hello. That's how you do things in India. So Ramachandra, he's chanting these mantras, but the ocean's singing. Is this like that lady on the beach doing the cricket thing? Some man chanting some mantras? Ocean's ignoring. Ramachandra, remember, everything Krishna can do is absolute and good. He can also become absolutely angry. So Ramachandra, remember, 50, 55, 60, 64. Sometimes it's called Baladev and Ramachandra, 62. Ramachandra is so angry. He's thinking about Sita now. And this ocean, he's doing the Vedic way. I offer you so many mantras. I'm saying, please, let me build this bridge. Ocean not responding. So we're told, the eyes of Ramachandra, sometimes we're told Vishnu's eyes are like the sunrise. Here they become like fire. Fiery red. The eyes, like when they say, you know, his eyes could burn you. The water in the ocean, the temperature starts rising. Like we talk about global warming. He's doing instant global warming from his vision. The ocean starting, the temperature starting to rise, and all the living beings, the fish and all they're praying in the ocean like, help! Stop this! Give him what he wants. He's not any ordinary man. It's not some ordinary man, you know, who's feeling pining for his wife. He lost his wife. That's not the case here. So then the ocean appears before him. I didn't know that you are the Narayan and all of this. Right? And Ramachandra saying, yeah, I need to make one bridge, don't mind it. Right? Saying, I'm not minding now. But Guru Maharaj makes the point that the personality of the ocean appeared. The ocean is the body. Like everyone has a body. We have bodies, but the person is inside the body. Atma, Paramatma. Right? Someone has, our body, so what are we told by science? 94% or 7, what is it, about liquid? Predominantly liquid? That's what we used to hear in school. So, what if someone's body is like 100% liquid? Right? Is that possible? We're 97, in the high 90s. Is it that too difficult to believe someone could be like 99.999 liquid body for a person? That's the Vedic way of seeing everything. This is the subjective evolution of consciousness. This is Guru Maharaj's vision. Everything is personal. If the Brahma Jyoti is so many individual units, jiva, then that means actually there isn't any such thing as impersonal. It's just a perception, a misconception, a misconceived way of seeing things. So even to see the Brahma Jyoti as impersonal, it's not actually, it appears. Yasya prabha prabhavato jagadanda koti kotish vishesha vishudhari vibhuti binnam tad brahma nishkalam anantam vishesha bhutam govindamari purushama. Nothing about Krishna is impersonal. Even his effulgence, Guru Maharaj is saying, not only is it full of individual units of consciousness, jivas, but Guru Maharaj said, a soul, realized souls, Mahabhagavatas to the extreme, with microscopic vision, they can look into the Brahma Jyoti and see someone's swarup. Even though you might think it's in a state of suspended animation, those with microscopic vision, just like those familiar with printing, offset printing, CMYK, cyan, magenta, yellow, black. When you see the image, it's uniform. There's some picture, say, of the sky, planet, sun, people, etc. Right? It looks like monochrome in a sense. Right? But we know that you take out what's called a loupe, a magnifying glass, which you have to do if you're trying to print nicely and check everything. And you look under the loupe, the high-powered loupe, and you see, oh, it's all cyan dots, magenta dots, yellow dots, black dots, and all these dots together make this picture. If you look at somebody's face, it's cyan, yellow, all these different dots. So we're told, Ashraya Vigraha, the Anga Jyoti of the Lord's associates, it's made up of so many different souls also. So that Brahma Jyoti, that light, Yasya Prabha, the spiritual light emanating from Krishna, also made up of so many personalities. We have to really what's the word? Diametrically change our thinking. So Guru Maharaj is so firm on this, that everything's personal in its ultimate aspect. He said that's why the Vedic sages, whenever they're addressing something, the moon they're addressing in a personal way, the sky, the sun, everything, including the sea and the rivers, Jamuna, Ganga. You know, Rupa Goswami telling when Baladeva is intoxicated and near Delhi, I don't know if that has any connection with it, but, and he's saying, Jamuna! He's like, come here. And she's saying like, you're intoxicated. I won't go near you. And he pulls out his plow and puts into Jamuna River and starts dragging the Jamuna River to him. And Rupa Goswami saying, please, we're hoping Baladeva will become calm soon. And we're praying for his blessings. But he dragged her with his plow. He started pulling her over the river, who's a person ultimately. And they'll say, when you go to that part of Delhi, you'll see these little tributaries from the Jamuna where Baladev's plow was dragging her and pulling her. Right? So when Mahaprabhu, in his divine madness, having taken sannyas, you know, look, he swam across the Ganga in the dead of night. And Guru Maharaj quotes that pathetic song, Nadia Dar Kore Gora Jaire saying the inhabitants of Navadip, they're thinking, what did we do? What have we done? The light of Nadia has gone forever. What have we done? They're praying for him to come back. It's so heartbreaking for the devotees. What to speak of Mother Sachi and Vishnu Priya? We can't conceive that. Tyaktva sudushta jasurepchita raja lakshmim. But when he arrives there and begins negotiating his sannyas with Keshava Bharati, and all the people were told, they're threatening him. Like we know our experience, how beautiful people look sometimes, and we say, like some movie star has very beautiful hair or supermodel or whatever, and they'll go, she just cut her hair last week, and people go, oh God, like why did they do that? You know, they say, oh, half the beauty is gone, or how beautiful did Nimai Pandit look? We can't imagine. And now they're going to shave his head and make him a sannyasi. The people flipped out and started threatening Keshava Bharati. We will burn down your ashram if you do this. If you give him sannyas, we're going to destroy your ashram. So beautiful, young boy, 24 years old, and he's reality of the beautiful and the most charming configuration. And so he's thinking how to get out of this situation. He tells Nimai Pandit, you need your mother's permission. This is India. Can't do anything in India unless your mom says it's okay. Like Guru Maharaj said, there's one great scientist in India. So how much, like mother, there's no legal rights, but she's controlling everything. How? We go, no, you need legal rights. Love. Love and affection. That's why you obey your mother, not because it's in your contract. Right? You sign an agreement. Right? So, this scientist, they wanted him to go to England for a big conference. Imagine, he's a grown man, probably in his mid-40s, 50s, something like that. And he wouldn't go. And they go, why? He said, his mother wouldn't give permission for him to leave India. So he wouldn't go. It was beyond, like, my mom will not approve. I'm not, what, for your conference I should go against my mother? Never. They think, what is India? When they interviewed the big star, Aishwarya Roy, most beautiful woman in the world, all that, they find she's living at home with her parents. Anyway, so he says, you have to get your mother's permission. Then he starts running back to Navadip, and then Keshava Bharata is singing, he's so beautiful, he's so charming, of course he'll go there and get permission. All right, come back. And he agrees, but we're told, Mahaprabhu, when they come to shave, the barber's like, oh no, don't make me do this. And all the people are threatening, and the barber starts shaving. Then Guru Maharaj says in his sloka, tears falling from the eyes of millions, thousands, hundreds of, because gods have descended too, we know from Rupa Goswami, to have a glimpse of the beauty of Mahaprabhu. They're all crying, falling to the ground, their tears, and the barber trying to shave him. And Mahaprabhu jumping up and singing Krishna Nam, and then they have to bring him down again, try and finish. And Bharati, Keshava Bharati Maharaj, doing the yagya, and always Nimai Pandit jumping up, then finally gives them that name. Shri Krishna you are Krishna consciousness personified, you give Krishna consciousness to, you were born to do that. Your name can only be Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Srinivasa Acharya's father is there, and he's going, Chaitanya, Chaitanya. And he goes mad chanting Chaitanya. And when he goes back to his town, people say, what happened? We heard that Nimai Pandit of Navadip, the great Pandit of Navadip, he's gone to Katwa to take sannyas. What happened? And he says, Chaitanya, Chaitanya, Chaitanya. So they name him Chaitanya Das. But that barber said, now I cannot shave, I'll never touch another head. And he took the occupation of a sweet maker. And they say any sweet his hand touched was very sweet. Had some extraordinary sweetness because his hand touched sweetness personified. But Mahaprabhu leaves Kahang Krishna Prananath Murali Badan. Where is Krishna? Remember, Krishna consciousness is about the search for Sri Krishna. Even the Braja Gopis are searching for Krishna. That brings out the best in them. We wonder why Krishna is not revealing himself to me. I've been chanting here for a long time. Seems like forever. Doesn't he get it? I'm his devotee. I was pretty concentrated there for a little while. Why is Krishna not revealing himself to me? And Biswanath says, actually he could, but he knows you're capable of more. And he knows the heart that you have, your real heart, your full heart, is capable of so much that he's holding back to get you to go to that deeper region of heart. Because he's Bhavagrahi Janardana, Bhav consumer. He knows your real heart, but it's on a deeper level, and he's tempted to accept what you're giving now, but going to hold off and wait for the real stuff. The deep heart connect, the deep heart's core, what will be expressed from there. That's why it's peculiar. This whole big build-up in the Bhagavatam to the Rasa Lila, it's finally the 10th canto, 29th chapter, everything. And no sooner does it begin than it stops. Why? It's just starting and then Krishna is gone. Radharani running after, searching for Radharani. Everything stopped. And then you would think, if you know something about Gaudiya ontology, then you could say, oh wait, later we hear, one Krishna for every two gopis, or feeling that one Krishna for every go through Prakash, Vilas, expansions. Why didn't he just expand himself for everybody and then go run after Radharani? He could do that too, but that's not what he does. Right? They're plunged into an ocean of separation. How heartbreaking. You've made it to the Rasa Lila and now it stopped before it started. It starts and Krishna's gone. Is that some kind of a trick or cruel thing to do? Maybe in some instances, after millions and millions of lifetimes, millions of creations, they've made it to that point and Krishna vanishes? What kind of Lord are we searching for? When Saraswati Thakur is giving the Gayatri Mantram to his disciples, and remember some of them are Sanskritians and have some understanding, their sanskar and everything. And Guru Maharaj is there, and so they'll leave, one or two, they go outside, and they're discussing what is the meaning of this. And they're thinking about the Kama Gayatri and Pushpaban and these things. And Saraswati Thakur can overhear them with great eagerness discussing these things outside his window right after their initiation. And Guru Maharaj is there. And Guru Maharaj said, Saraswati Thakur turned to him and he had this look on his face that was so painful, with such longing and lamentation, yet mysteriously beautiful. And he said, I have been trying to offer a flower to the holy body of Krishna for so long. And Guru Maharaj said that so long was to indicate millions of lifetimes. He's saying, as yet, I am unsuccessful. The leader who's giving the mantram expresses this lament. Is that meant to discourage us? Guru Maharaj will save us from the wrong understanding by telling us that he's saying, yes, Krishna consciousness is so high, so wonderful, that even if you don't get after millions of lifetimes, even if after millions of lifetimes you're on the verge of entering that divine pastime of Krishna, you're rejected, can't give it up, won't walk away, right? Won't stop the search, increased hankering, increased longing, increased earnestness. And that Krishna knows. So Vishwanath said, he's thinking, if now I remove myself, right at this point, and they're plunged into an ocean of separation, which is sometimes compared to the timingil, the whale eating fish, being devoured by that. He's saying then, like the Dasavatar, Meena Sharira, the Matsya avatar, it's one of the why they're praying this way. To be saved by Krishna. We're drowning in an ocean of separation. Anyway, Vishwanath says, Krishna is saying, if at that time, when they're at the depths of separation, the peak of that longing and hankering, if I then appear, then we'll have a Rasa Leela. That's what he's thinking. So only to take it to another level. So Mahaprabhu, and we're talking about stepping over someone in the Vedic system. So for this type of increased hankering and longing and eagerness and sincerity, Mahaprabhu, he's running from the yajna, searching for Krishna, like the gopis, Tava Katamritam Taptajiv, searching for Krishna. Kahan Krishna Prananath Murali Badan, Kahan Karun Kahan Pan, Brajendra Nandan. But he's running madly in every direction, not in a particular, not necessarily towards Vrindavan. That leads him to, so his devotees, Mukunda, Gadadhar, others, they're losing track of him, and only by every now and then he goes crashing to the ground, wailing. They hear this pitiful crying. Then Mahaprabhu's, and they all run towards him. By that time he's gone somewhere else. They can't find him. And Guru Maharaj said he's in like a childlike state of ecstasy. That's why Nityananda appears and, he, taking advantage of his childlike state, Nityananda gives some guidance to him. He wants him to go to Advaita Bhavan. So when Mahaprabhu sees some cowherd boys, Nityananda saw them first, and Nityananda is telling these cowherd boys, when that sannyasi comes here and asks you, which way is Vrindavan? You say, this way. And they're like, okay. And then when Mahaprabhu comes, he sees cowherd boys, they have turbans, and he's going, Haribol, and they'll go, Haribol, oh! Like, Vrindavan, Hare Krishna, I finally got here. And he said, which way is Jamuna? And they're going, that way. Oh, Jamuna, I'm in Vrindavan at last. And that's when he says, Nityananda. Saying, Sripad, you're also going? Yeah, I'm going to Vrindavan with you. Oh, good. We'll go together. And really he's being directed to Jamuna. It's Ganga. On one side, Ganga, what is it? The western side, eastern side, reverse, right? So it was a white lie, because one side is considered Ganga, one side Jamuna, But then, thinking that he's reached there, he offers that Chidananda Bano sloka of Kavi Karnapur. And we're back to the point that he's saying, Brahma Prema Datri, you are Krishna Prem in liquid form. Just like there's Shabda Brahma, there's Daru Brahma and Jagannath. He can appear in wood, stone, etc. He's saying, here is liquid Brahma, spirit in a liquid form. And not only that, the Krishna Prem, he said, you're the son of conscious ecstasy. Right? So, Mahaprabhu is addressing the river as personal. So we take Jamuna is personal, Ganga is personal. So, how we'll see all these things? We talk through the eye of devotion, the lens of devotion. So, Brahma Sangita says, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena, Santak Sadeva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti, Yang Shama Sundarama Chentra Guna Swarupam, Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajamin. So when we go from Brahma to Paramatma, we go to Bhagavan. Vasudeva Sarvamiti, Samahatma Sadurlabhaha. Guru is saying the first personal representation of the upper world is realized in Vasudeva. And here Vasudeva means absent his potency. So Paramatma, we don't see the consort of Paramatma. Right? We don't see Paramatma with potency or Shakti. That's the beginning of what? Bhagavan realization, which is beyond the Vasudeva Sarvam Iti, according to Guru Maharaj. That's Krishna still alone, personal, but alone. And by his own analysis, when is that possible? From a distance. So here he's describing Paramatma being here, but going toward the Paramatma world, that divine world, the first really personal conception, Vasudeva, on the outskirts from a distance. He's in, like Everest is the highest peak, from the greatest distance you see Everest. But if focusing on Everest, like Sakshad Hariyatena Samasta Shastre, then the proof that you're coming nearer is you're coming in connection with the subordinate peaks that are surrounding Everest. So as we move closer in Krishna conception, Kintu Prabhoya Priyeva Tasya, Prabhu Priya, the one who is most dear to Krishna, the shift will go towards his potency. So we will say that Paramatma and Paramatma Gyan is the goal of the yogis, to see the Paramatma in their hearts, right? And within everything. But not so for the Bhakta. Bhakta, Yang Shama Sundaram Achintaguna Sarupam, Hridayeshu Valokayanti. They're seeing, what form would they be seeing in their hearts within everything? Shama Sundar, Shama Goparup, Krishna. Guru Maharaj tells us about Gayatri, that on the basis of Charitamritam, Krishna mantra hoite have sangsara mochan, Krishna nama have hoite Krishna racharan. Krishna mantra, sangsara mochan, liberate you from material existence. But Krishna Nam will take you to Krishna Charan, the lotus feet of Krishna, and by extension that means he's not alone, his serving group, into a service position. And he will say, at that point, the mantram retires. Its desired effect, which is entrance into the service domain, has been achieved. It's on automatic. As he would sometimes say, the gopis, you don't see pictures of them chanting Krishna Nam on beads. He said, but at that stage in the spiritual world, they are situated in Krishna Nam. So And on the basis of what we told the other day, when Krishna tries to play a trick on the Braja Gopis showing 4 arms, they're disappointed. Right? So, and what does Guru Maharaj tell us? If you're too attentive, Das Goswami says, if you're too attentive to Vidhi Marg, you'll be hurled down to Vaikuntha, right? The 4-armed Vishnu world. And who do we hear they're worshipping? That when we do hear the Braja Gopis are worshipping some deities, or it'll be Katyayani, Surya. The gods, we're told, also have some position in Braja Lila for play. Brahma, Shiva, they're also sometimes appearing there. So, but to go in the reverse position, who is that Paramatma, if not an expansion of Bhagavan Sri Krishna? So, if we want to take it that Paramatma world and the Paramatma conception refining, expressing itself fully, then we could make a case for that. But the full expression will have to be Bhagavan, which means Shakti and Shaktiman, Krishna and his potency. So Guru Maharaj is saying, going beyond Vasudeva Savamiti, turning to Krishna, and that means, 2-armed Krishna and moving in that direction, but then the substantial aspect accompanied by his potency. And didn't we discuss something recently about Virata Rupa? And Taneva Rupena Chatur Bhujena, after Virata Rupa, then to the 4-armed form, and then at last to 2-armed Krishna. And this used to bewilder me when I was a teenager reading Bhagavad Gita, because I have to admit, at that time, I thought like chapter 11 was really cool because it resembled a psychedelic experience. Thousands of, I don't even go, oh, here it comes, we don't need to take drugs, we just read chapter 11. But after that, in the end, when it would go, then he'd go from Virata Rupa to 4-armed, Taneva Rupena Chatur, and then the 2-armed, and then he would say to Arjuna, this form that you're seeing now, this is the most confidential form that the highest or are ever eager to see. And I would, at that time, not being properly trained, or not, that would bewilder me. I think, oh, not the 1,000 arms and the innumerable mouths and all of that. You're saying this 2-armed form, even above the form, this is the form that the highest realized souls are ever eager to have a glimpse of. And to what degree? That Mahavishnu steals that Brahman son so that Krishna and Arjuna penetrate all the layers of the universe with their divine horses and everything. And it's like, Mahavishnu, come on. You're saying, well, you got to do something. Saying, yeah, I took that kid. I just wanted to see you. You're so beautiful and inconceivably charming. I won't do it again. Can Mahavishnu be chastised? Yes. Advaita Acharya, someone asked him, who is Nimai Pandit's guru again? Keshava Bharati. And Achyutananda, the 5-year-old boy in the next room, he hears this, comes running, Father, what nonsense are you saying? He's talking to Mahavishnu. Is there a world where a 5-year-old child can chastise Mahavishnu? Apparently there is. He's saying, Mahaprabhu is Jagat Guru Chaitanya Dev. He's the guru of everyone. And you're telling that. They said, what you're saying, if people hear what you're saying, the whole world will become ruined. You're ruining everything, Father, with this nonsense that someone is Mahaprabhu's guru. And what is Advaita Acharya thinking? Like, I have such a nice son. He's correcting me. And that Achyutananda, what is he? One of the principal dancers at Rath Yatra. Achyutananda, Gopal, and Krishna Mishra, they're the good sons. And he also becomes disciple of Gadadhar Pandit. Hare Krishna. So therefore you'll see, interestingly, when you're in Bhagavatam, deep, 10th canto, and sometimes Krishna may be referred to as Paramatma. But here, the Supreme Soul, the saying like, has that Brahman Paramatma? Now, what's Paramatma doing? Do you want to hear about it? His other life. Vikriditam brajabadu idam jabishnu. My Gurudev once told me, he said, this vikrida, this type of play, he's saying it can only mean Madhura Rasa. So, because we've been talking about Gadadhar Pandit, Gadadhar Pranam, and Guru Maharaj's collection, and Bhagavat Arka Marichi Malan. So I was looking there, and just wherever I see some sloka that we've heard, or not, it's great joy. You go like, oh, it like made it, in the Bhaktivinoda's collection. But there's so many others there that we have to properly give attention to. But I thought, sort of looking ahead, and like, how does he end? Because I would like to read them all sequentially, but I was kind of like looking around in different sections. But then, wonder how does he begin? Janmadyasya yata, but with other slokas coming, some from 11th canto. It's very, very interesting. About the Parampar Jena, Prakriti Vaicitra, Kalo Nashta Pralaya, all these type of things. But in the end, I saw this one sloka, and I thought, oh, it's from the 10th canto, and it appears to be saying one particular thing. And then you look at, Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives an explanation. And this last line that appears to be glorifying Rama, the goddess of fortune, Balaram, Shiva, and others, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says here that Giritra means Giriraj, Giri Govardhan, Govardhan. And Rama means Srimati Radharani. Like Rama means Lakshmi generally, not Rama, but Rama. Srila Guru Maharaj named his sister Rama, Didi, Rama. We can still hear him calling her. It's very beautiful to hear Guru Maharaj call out her name, and then she comes, Rama, and she comes running to do some seva. But so he's saying, but who's the supreme goddess of fortune? Srimati Radharani. So Bhaktivinoda concludes saying, when Krishna is holding Govardhan, that Radharani comes as the other, with her group, but she's, how shall we say, giving Krishna some special nourishment at that time. So it ends with praise of the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani and Madhura Rasa. And very mystically, he's selected that sloka to represent the gist of the Bhagavatam. And very sweet, and that pastime. And therefore, we're so fortunate to be here in Gupta Govardhan, in the shade of the lotus feet of Giriraj Govardhan, under the shelter of our Guru Varga. Nama Srestam Manumapi Sachiputra Atra Swarupam. Manum, they asked Guru, what does it mean? He said, the mantram, the supreme mantram. And two, the Gayatri mantra and Krishna mantram. Nama Srestam Manumapi Sachiputra Atra Swarupam. Swarup Damodar. Rupam Tasyagraja Matupurim Matrim Gostavatim. Radha Kundam Girivaramaho Radhika Madhavasham, like Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Pranam Mantram. Nityam Rupanugasri Kritimati Guru Gauranga Radha Jitasha Asha Vare Amrita Sindhu Mahikatancha Radhika Madhavasham Prapto Jasya Pratita Kripaya. Guru said, normally devotees will never say they have anything. Right? They'll say they've not got. Right? They're aspiring. They don't say they have. They're aspiring servitors. But Gurudev said, interestingly, here in the last line, because he's praising his Guru Varga, Raghunath Das Goswami says, Prapto Jasya Pratitaya Kripaya Sri Guru Tanmatosmi. By the grace of Sri Guru, I have got all these things. The holy name of Krishna, the mantram, the abode of Mathura, Giriraj Govardhan, the aspiration to serve Radhan, Radhika Madhavasha, all of these things. This is what we get by the grace of Sri Guru. It cannot be denied. So as fallen as we are, we cannot deny the substance of the grace of Sri Guru Gauranga Radha Govinda. Hare Krishna.